Hey guys, so you just heard from my husband, DeAndre Clayton. We were just touching on some questions that one of our viewers had regarding our first podcast and a little bit about relationships. So my take on being a prison wife is it's hard. It's not easy. A lot of people always have their opinions. You know, people always going to have something negative to say, but at the end of the day, this is a journey that I've chosen to take with my husband, and guess what? I'm gonna ride till the wheels fall off. Anybody that's watching this podcast knows me. They know I'm very loyal, and at the end of the day, it's nothing that is going to make me turn my back on my husband or look down upon him because he's in prison. I've chosen to take this journey, and I've chosen to take his hand in marriage for a reason. And a lot of people don't understand that love is love. You can be walking down the street and bump into somebody and get to know him and fall in love. I've been knowing this guy since we were 16 and 19 years old. So when he came back into my life on my birthday, I'm like, huh? I'm like, where did all this come from? And when we touch bases on this, one thing about prayer, I prayed to God. I was specific in my prayer of what type of husband I wanted. And God answered every specific thing that I asked for when him sending me a husband. I didn't ask for him to be in jail, but that's the circumstances of me, asking God to send what I needed and what I wanted in a man. A lot of women that I know in my support groups on prison wives and just friends and family members that I know that are dating men in jail, it's a hard journey. You have to take into consideration some days you might not speak to them 2 or 3 days because they're on lockdown. 2 or 3 weeks you may not speak to them. So it's a lot of stuff going through your mind, like, is my husband okay? Is he in the hole? Did he get in trouble? So it's a lot of stuff that goes through your mind, like, my husband, is he okay? My boyfriend, my son, my uncle, my nephew, my niece, my mother, just not men in prison. There's women in prison as well. So it's a lot of burden that comes on the people that actually holding a loved one that's incarcerated. And with my point of view with relationships, it's like, you gotta be tight. Like, you can't let an outsider come in and talk negative about your significant other. Because let me tell you something, one thing about my husband, which I love, he's never gonna let anybody talk down about his wife, anything negative, none of that. He cutting it straight off. And what type of wife would I be to let anybody talk negative about my husband? Anybody that knows Taisha, know I'm a loyal person. I'm a ride or die till the wheels fall off. And a lot of people don't understand, like, dang, a lot of people tell me, oh, we didn't see you marrying a guy in jail. Why did you do that? You were desperate. You was lonely. No, I didn't go looking for anything. It came to me. And I've known this guy since almost 20 years. And, back in the day, we didn't date. We liked each other, maybe fooled around, but nothing like sexual, nothing like that. But when he came to me, and we started getting to know each other more as an adult, because back then we were actually kids, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people thought I met my husband on the internet. No, I did not meet my husband on the internet. He was 16 years old back in the Compton days, and I was 19, and he was a little 16-year-old thug rolling around in the streets hustling, and I was a pretty young thing from LA and Compton, and that's how we actually met. A lot of people don't know that. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch bases on, it's not easy. And it's not all, when I post pictures, me and him holding and smiling and enjoying each other, it's not all peaches and cream, because at the end of the day, I'm coming home alone. But at the end of the day, I know at the end of this journey, it's gonna be greater and better. Like, a lot of people think a man, number one priority when he's dating a woman in prison is to use them. My husband barely asked me for anything. one thing he does want me to do, keep money on my phone and come visit him and make sure that I'm the flyest one in the visiting room, because he loves that. When he come in, I'm driving, going to see him, calling, babe, what you got on? How's your hair? How you looking? Like, that brightens up his day. And it brightens up my day to make my husband smile. Like, when I walk in that visiting room and I see him walking through that door and his big smile on his face, like, support is everything to an inmate that's incarcerated, whether it's your loved one, whether it's your husband, brother, sister. Like, support is everything. Like, me and my husband talk about this a lot, and it kind of hurts my feelings because a lot of people that's locked up don't have the support system. I'm just going to be honest. When I go see my husband, 9 times out of 10, we're the only Black people that's in the visiting room, period. I know a lot of people may not agree with me when I say that, but a lot of minorities, which I've seen in the prison my husband is in, you don't see a lot of Black families out there. I'm just keeping it real. It may be in different prisons, but you don't see a lot of Black people getting visits. And it's kind of sad. Like, you can't just forget about them, because when they do come home, they're going to need your support. Like, this world has changed so much. Look what we're going through with this pandemic, with COVID-19. Like, it's a lot is about to change, and these people are coming out to a different world. So without that outside support system, how do you think they're gonna make it in society today? So I just wanted to touch bases on that, and also let everybody know that there's some good guys that deserve love that's in jail. Like, my husband told me, he was like, I never wanted to get married. He was like, I've been doing all this time. He was like, first of all, I wasn't ready. I wasn't a man. He was like, I was playing games. It was a point in time where he did have 6 or 7 women coming to visit him. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Not right now, because he know I'm not playing none of that. I don't care if he is incarcerated. I'm not playing none of that. And that was established before we even started talking in the relationship. Taisha's not playing none of that, because I don't know if a lot of you guys don't know, but a lot of you guys may know. My first marriage was an abusive relationship. Like, I was literally getting beat 95% of my marriage, which was almost 7 years long. So the woman I am today, I told my husband, I was like, oh, I'm not tolerating no BS. And I think he understands, like, I'm a woman now. Like, I was a kid back then, and a lot of things I did back in my first marriage prepared me for my second marriage. And this is his first marriage. He has no kids. I have no kids. Like, that was one of my prayers. I prayed to God that my husband had no kids. I didn't want to be second field to anybody. I wanted to be priority in my marriage. Also, he said the same thing. He was like, I didn't want to date no woman with kids. I wanted to be priority, the number one in my wife's life. So I say that when I got on my knees and prayed to God, I was very specific in my prayers about what I wanted in my husband. And I got everything I wanted, except I didn't ask for him to be in jail, which I'm not questioning God, but I'm going with the flow. And at the end of the day, a lot of people say, oh, he go get out, mess with women and do this. But look at y'all. Look at some of y'all relationships. Y'all got a man barely coming home at night. Y'all got a man laying to y'all next to y'all, and he cheating. So, like, you can't talk about what may happen or speak negatives on somebody's relationship. I always know once you do that, it's like, you mean my relationship no good, and I gotta cut you off. I'm at the point in my life where if you're not for me or my life and what I'm going through, you against me. So I have to cut you off. Any negativity, I'm not tolerating it. And a lot of people say, oh, you doing a podcast, you opening up, people are gonna be talking about you. Guess what? They talked about Jesus Christ. And at the end of the day, I'm doing this because I was led by my feelings and my heart that this was something I needed to do. This is not just about relationships. This is about what's going on behind the prison walls. These men are not taking showers. Some of these men in the prison are getting charges by put on them by COs that they didn't even do. Some of these men are overdosing. The prison my husband is in now, last month they had a bad batch of heroin that was being brought into the prison. Over 10 inmates died. You hear me? Died overdosing on heroin. So it's a lot of things that I think that needs to be brought to the table. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and be the advocate for my husband, because at the end of the day, I'm his wife and I'm the Clyde to his Bonnie. And he already knows that, like, at the end of the day, it's me or him. You know, and I feel a lot of people are going to appreciate the realness of our podcast and just engage in it. Like, it's no secrets. Nothing's going to be held back. Next week, I am interviewing one of my cousins who has been locked up for 17 years. He has came out and excelled. He's making over $40 an hour. I'm interviewing him tomorrow. Sunday, I'm interviewing another wife and her husband. They want to, you know, come on and tell their story. So it's a lot in store. I just want to thank you guys, number one, for subscribing to my podcast. The Confessions of a Prison Wife, the Good, the Bad, and Ugly. Don't forget to follow my Facebook and Instagram page, The OG Prison Wife, and also my main page, Taisha Clayton. And I just want to thank you guys so much for rocking with your girl. It's going to be a journey. This is the beginning, but it's about to be dope. So hold on, ride with me, grab a drink, and roll with your girl. Peace. Don't forget, share, subscribe, and like to my YouTube page. Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed night. Bye.